Today's video is sponsored by Helix Sleep. Hello my peeps, welcome back to the channel. For this week's video, I did another Instagram poll finally, and in conclusion, you guys love TikTok. Don't get me wrong, I love doing TikTok recipes. They're usually pretty fun to do, but I don't think I've ever put that option in a poll and it didn't win. For today's installment, we're gonna be trying out the famous Pesto Eggs, Jason Derulo's insane cheeseburger, and then for dessert, the sequel to the Sprite pie, the Monster Pie. Shoutouts to everybody who voted on the poll and then sent me some TikToks to do, but let's get right into this one. On the grand scheme of recipes we have recreated, whether TikTok or not, none of these look too crazy. The pie might have me running through walls with the amount of monster and sugar in it, but before I can start with anything, I gotta give a shout out to my friends at Helix Sleep. Helix is a premium mattress-in-a-box company that makes mattresses to fit your unique needs and preferences based on your body type and sleep style. Helix knows that everybody is different, so they made a sleep quiz that matches your unique body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. I personally have had my mattress for over 6 months now, and let me tell you, Nala and I love it just as much now as we did when we first got it. And I have been thrilled to hear that a bunch of you have clicked the link in the description, taken the survey, and then made the change to a Helix mattress. Plus, they've been such a great supporter of the channel over the past year, so by doing that and hooking up yourself, you're also supporting me and my channel as well. Now don't forget, one of the best parts of this is that Helix delivers your mattress right to your door for free. And if it makes you nervous to buy something that you haven't tried, Helix has a 100-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure that you love the thing. If you don't, they'll pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. So if you haven't already, click the link in the top line of the description to go to helixsleep.com/David Seymour, take the sleep quiz, and get up to $200 off on your mattress, plus 2 free pillows. And thanks so much to Helix for supporting the channel. For the first course today, I think it's only right that we start with one of the most requested recipes in the last few weeks, the Pesto Eggs. You will need some olive oil, salt and pepper and red pepper flakes, butter and honey, some bread for toast and a fresh lemon, a few eggs, fresh garlic, Parmesan cheese, and a whole lot of basil. Shoutouts to the creator of these 2 videos I've been showing you, Amy Wilichowski. I'm not sure if she's the first one to ever cook an egg in pesto, but she not only walked you through the process of cooking the eggs, but also gave you her personal pesto recipe. I'm actually ecstatic to do this, and the reason is because whenever I see pesto, I automatically assume I just can't eat it. Normally it's got a ton of either pine nuts or cashews in there. Obviously I'm allergic to those, so unless I make a pesto without that, I probably can't eat it. Does it come out just as good as the version with the pine nuts in it? I don't know. You'd have to ask somebody who has both. But I have made this before, and it usually comes out pretty tasty. Not to mention, it's so easy to make. It's just prepping your ingredients and blending them together. As for the actual egg portion of this, unlike a lot of TikTok trends I have done in the past, this one actually makes sense. As you saw, there's a whole lot of olive oil in this, so substituting your normal oil or your butter for this, when you're cooking in your nonstick pan, makes plenty of sense in my head. On a normal day, I just grab a coffee and a banana for breakfast. I usually either don't have time or just don't feel like cooking when I don't have to. But if this comes out as good as people are saying, I'd be more than happy to do it. It already looks pretty good. Oh my god. We've just had a travesty. That's a first. Sorry, PlayStation. Right in the damn USB port. Jesus. This is a damn mess, but I'll clean it up later. This is good. It tastes exactly how I expected it to. There's nothing not to like. It's just an egg on toast. I love red pepper flakes and honey. I love pestos that I can have. I love the little bit of Sony flavor in there. This is almost exactly how I like my eggs too. A little bit of like runniness on the top, but mostly set up jamminess in the middle. My favorite part of this actually might be how the sweet and spicy are kind of playing with the honey and the chili flakes, even more so than the pesto. Is it anything mind-blowing? Not really, but would I eat it again? Sure, it's pretty good. You may be asking yourself, David, this is just a cheeseburger made by a famous singer turned children talker. What's so special about it and why are you making it? Well, grab some milk and some panko breadcrumbs, some ketchup and flour, some flour tortillas, ground chuck, and 20% fat ground beef, some kosher salt and garlic powder, sandwich pickles and Japanese mayo, some bacon and taco sauce, chili powder, paprika, cumin, crushed red pepper flakes, onion powder, dried oregano, water, black pepper, an onion, some cheddar cheese, some American cheese, a burger bun, eggs, and lettuce. This is gonna be a long one. I don't know if there's a backstory here. I don't know if he had some kind of inspiration in a dream, but this is a bacon cheeseburger with a full taco, some homemade onion rings, a queso, ketchup, pickles, mayo, and a brioche bun. And of course, we're gonna be making mostly everything from scratch, starting with our onion rings. I'm gonna be keeping everything as simple, but also as delicious as I possibly can. The rings get dipped down in a wet batter of just some flour, some ice water, some spices of your choosing, and salt and pepper, thoroughly dredged in our panko breadcrumbs, and then fried at 350 degrees for a few minutes until the exterior is golden brown. Because there's no specific brands or like recipes for each component on this, I'm just gonna be making everything how I would normally. Think of this one more as a proof of concept, if these kinds of components will work together rather than like actual specific flavors. Because by the looks of this, there's really no way to know how he made all this, if there was chili powder in the onion ring dredge, if there was cayenne pepper in the queso. I made a really simple cheese sauce just with a roux, a little bit of butter, and then some shredded up cheddar cheese until our sauce thickened up. And then I seasoned it on the back end with some salt, pepper, and cayenne. I've learned that keeping this simple, taking your time, and most importantly, adding cheese while the heat is not on is really the keys to success with making a smooth, creamy cheese sauce. And while I finish that up and start on the third component, the taco seasoning for the taco meat inside the taco inside of the cheeseburger, let's just chat for a minute and catch up, because I kind of love to do that. No matter where you are in the world, I hope you are doing just well. I know most of you are here in North America with me, where summer is finally here. I'm so proud of you all for finishing school with your straight A's, you know, your 4.0 GPAs, you're on the dean's list, I'm sure. And if all that isn't true, like it was for me, just drop out and become a YouTuber. What could go wrong? Back to the recipe at hand though, I got my meat browned up and nicely seasoned. And for the first time in my entire life, I made one single taco. I'm usually either making these for a family of 4 or even for myself, in which I would make 3 or 4 of these. Then I grabbed my bacon slices from the fridge and gave them a rough chop. These were left over from breakfast this morning that my dad very nicely cooked for us. Shout outs to him. He also is the one that reads every single one of your comments in every video. So whenever y'all are being nasty, dirty hamsters down there, he sees that. So keep that in mind. And now that I said that, they'll probably be 10 times worse. So I'm just so thrilled for when he reports back with what you guys had to say. I toasted up my brioche bun. I formed about a 1/3 pound burger patty, seasoned it with salt and pepper, and then got a nice sear on that baby in my cast iron. And at long frickin' last, we can stack this guy up. This is gonna get our toasted bun and burger patty, 2 slices of American cheese, our taco and onion rings. With every single addition, I was more and more impressed that this thing is still standing upright. And with the EMS on standby, let's give recipe number 2 a try. I don't know if you guys got the scale of this thing, but I don't know how I'm gonna pick it up. It certainly doesn't taste bad. I mean, I like everything in it. It's just a lot, as you can imagine. It is a lot of meats. It's a lot of bread products. The tortilla, the hamburger bun, even like the breaded panko on the onion rings. There's so many different flavors going on, my brain almost can't process it. My favorite part is actually probably the difference in textures. A lot of times when you get a burger, it's just like soft and kind of like greasy and a little mushy. With this, at least you've got like the crunchy pickles, you've got the really crispy onion rings. Would I prefer to have everything in this separate and just eaten on their own? Yeah, but it's pretty good. I mean, if you've got way too much time on your hands and like a masochism for chest pain, then yeah, sure, go for it. Lastly, for dessert, we are revisiting somebody who has already made an appearance on the channel, Kitchen Tool, with his follow-up to his Sprite Pie video, the Monster Pie. You will need some granulated sugar and Pacific Punch Monster Juice, cornstarch, store-bought pie crusts, and some butter. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like last time I really was digging into this video just because of how absurd it looked. Like, just the imagery of pouring a can of soda into a pie crust is kind of funny. But I ended up kind of liking it. It had a really pleasant flavor. The texture was different, to say the least. I don't know how different a Sprite soda and an uncarbonated Monster is going to be in a baked good, but we shall see. I thought this would be a breeze. I thought I was just gonna mix my sugar, cornstarch, and then just dump everything into my pie crust. But when I opened it, I realized it was super shallow. Like, I don't think I'd even be able to fit half a can of Monster in this. So since there was 2 in the package, I kind of just meshed them together, formed it into one large pie dough that would fit into my actual pie trays. Recently, I have kind of loved the white Monsters. I have no idea what flavor it's supposed to taste like, but I enjoy drinking them once in a while. But the amount of sugar in these things is just ridiculous. If you didn't know, in this one can alone that I used, there's about 4 tablespoons almost, which is like almost 100% of your daily recommended intake. And combined with the cup of sugar that goes in this pie, there's almost 20 tablespoons total in this thing. This is certainly not a recipe you should be eating at all, but if you do, not that often. This guy gets baked at 400 degrees for about 35 minutes, and then it's turned down to 375 for another 30 minutes. And it's looking a little bit more liquid than the last version. I let it completely cool down at room temperature for about 40 minutes, and I don't know what happened. I'll admit I was kind of excited for this one, but not so much anymore. This literally just looks like radioactive goop flubber slime. The little pockets of fat from the melted butter is really not helping the case either. Oh no. Whoa, it almost just came back up. That was rancid. Something about warm, like baked goods that taste like fruit punch is just so off-putting to me. It actually has a very similar taste to Four Loko, if anyone is familiar. And the texture is literally one of the worst things I've ever experienced. It kind of just felt like a mouthful of warm snot. Usually textures are not something that bothers me. Like, I don't get put off eating something by a texture. This is an exception. I think he should have just stuck with the Sprite Pie and quit while he was ahead. Nobody needed this. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave me a big old like. As always, let me know down in the comments what you want to see me try next week. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you do not already. Thanks to Helix Sleep for making this one possible as well. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you right back here next time. Peace!
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.